Okay, the session is live now. You may begin.
Okay, thank you. Hello, everyone. Good evening. Good evening. On behalf of the organizing team, I extend a very warm welcome to all the participants. Sorry, I extend a very warm welcome to all the participants, mentors, and our distinguished guests. I am Rohit, serving as the head and chair of StratoHack 2025, and it is my privilege to lead today's proceedings. Along with me, we also have our deputy head Akash Jana, whose efforts have been valuable in shaping this event. A special word of appreciation also goes out to our team of dedicated volunteers who have worked tirelessly behind the scenes to ensure everything runs smoothly. Their commitment and energy have been the backbone of StratoHack's execution. Together as one team, we are proud to welcome you all to StratoHack 2025 on behalf of Paradox, a platform where innovation meets ambition and where bright young minds will explore the exciting frontiers of AI/ML in sky and space technologies. So coming to event description, unlike general hackathon challenges, which include problem statements and solving in under a particular period of time and evaluating without any official proceedings. But under this new AML hackathon, it is based on pure coding, it is based on pure skill. All participants are required to implement their solutions primarily on Kaggle platform, or if it doesn't suit, we can switch to Google Colab if necessary. Throughout the hackathon, shall be checkpoints at regular intervals where mentors and organizers will review progress, test your skills, and shortlist participants who demonstrate strong problem solving ability, coding expertise, and innovation. The problem statements will be released at the end of the opening session, and the task will be able to develop the given problem statement under the guidelines assured. So coming to our guest introduction, we are deeply honored to have with us today Mr. Arjun Malhotra sir, who hardly needs an introduction. Sir is a co-founder of HCL, one of India's pioneering IT companies, and has been driving force in placing India on global technology map. Throughout his career, Sir has led and built technology companies across the globe, from the United States to India, creating immense impact in IT, business, and education. He has served in leadership positions at multinational corporations, academic institutions, and startups, always championing innovation and entrepreneurship. Sir has also been a mentor and guide to countless young innovators, inspiring them to pursue technology with purpose and vision. What makes his presence here even more special is that StratoHack is all about pushing boundaries in AML and aerospace fields where Sir's belief in disruptive innovation resonates deeply. For our participants, having a stalwart like Mr. Malhotra sir as a both jury member and speaker is a true one in a lifetime opportunity to learn directly from someone who has shaped the very foundations of India's technology ecosystem. I would like to request Sir to kindly share his insights on the exciting intersection of AI, sky, and space technologies. Particularly, some of these areas may include astroinformatics, satellite data analysis, and the role of AI in aerospace innovations. Your words, sir, will inspire our participants to think more deeply, more creatively, and more ambitiously about how technology can transform the future of space exploration and sky technologies. Thank you.
Thank you, Rohit. Thank you for that very kind introduction. Yes, it's a pleasure to be here with all of you. I was quite impressed by the topics that, or the challenges, I should say, that the team had put together. I have a set of them here with me, and I've got to admit, I know you all probably know a lot more about aerospace and space than I do. I mean, I understand the technology. In fact, to give you a little bit of history, when I did my electronics and electrical communication engineering in 1970 from IIT Kharagpur, computers was an option that I didn't take. I actually did control systems, and my plan at that time was to come here to the Bay Area, do a PhD at either Stanford or Berkeley, and then work for NASA doing satellite control. life never goes the way you plan it. I ended up spending most of my life in the computer industry. Had to learn it pretty much outside after IIT. I did learn, you get the basics in IIT, but I didn't really attend the more detailed kind of courses. But yes, so I do know a little bit about satellite control. My BTech thesis, I don't know if you all still do that, but we used to have to do a thesis at the end of our 5 years. It was a 5-year program at that time, was on sample data control systems, which really meant how we could reconstruct information by getting samples instead of continuous information from a satellite or wherever. So I've been working, well, not I've been working, but I've been involved with another ex-HCL person, Nandi Bhatia, who runs a company in Delhi. They started off as a subcontractor to a lot of foreign vendors in supplying things to airports. And today he has become the prime, and they are the subs to him. He makes those arms that go out on which you walk to the aircraft, amongst other things. And he's been talking to me about getting people to do some software innovations that will help replace things that are imported by airports today. I'm sure you're aware that the government has a plan to develop some 450 flying clubs all over the country into airports and build a regional system where you have a hub and spoke. You have a number of small regional flights coming into a hub from where you can go to another hub and then take a regional flight to a smaller airport. I worry about the number of planes that are going to be in our skies. I worry about the fact that there are going to be drones there, and I worry about the fact that there are going to be flying taxis that people are talking about that should be out in a few years, point to point. And so control of the sky, already we've heard of a few incidents where planes have come either close to each other and some have actually crashed, like the one in Washington, D.C., where an army helicopter and a plane did collide. We need to make sure that not just on the runways, where we take a lot of care to make sure we don't get planes to collide, but even in the air, we're going to have to define strategic paths or very different paths for different kinds of things. And to try and to think that we can expect people flying drones to follow strict flying lines is a little ambitious. I think you're going to see things like that. I just don't have an answer on how they're going to do it. I also wanted to mention that there are lots of things that airports need that they import today. One simple thing is when a plane comes into the terminal and it comes to dock, it has to know how far it is from the terminal itself, and that that device that tells the plane how far it is and when it should tell the pilot when he should stop is something that's imported today. A lot of the equipment that the one that ramps up where your baggage goes into the plane, that's imported. A lot of the trucks that supply food to the airplane, those are imported. So there are lots of electronics, there are lots of mechanical kind of things that need to be done. Next time you're at an airport, just look out of the window and look at the number of different kinds of equipment that are there, whether they're pushing the plane or they're pulling the plane or whatever. Most of them are imported. If you look carefully at the brand names on the equipment, you'll find that most of them are imported. And with our expansion, India's expansion into multiple airports, I think the opportunities are quite immense. So I'm really happy to see this hackathon on a number of issues that is being done with the aerospace folks. I think today it's not just mechanical and electronics. I think you've got AI, and now you've got some exciting technologies like digital twin, where you can actually design, take one of those equipment, put some IoT devices on it, get signals, and then simulate how and what needs to be done to maintain, design, develop, manage those equipment. You know, uh, Digital twin can be used anywhere. I mean, whether it's civil, it's used for health, it's used for bridges, it can be used anywhere. It's an amazing technology where you can uh, get a digital image of a physical device or a physical item, and then do your simulations to try and see what would happen when that item is put under that kind of stress or whatever what you want to test it for. So I look forward to this. Thank you very much. I'm excited about the kind of thinking you all will do to try and get to uh, what we have in this hackathon. And my best wishes and best of luck to everyone. Thank you. Thank you, Rohit. Over to you.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
I'd be happy to take questions if that's the format you want to follow.
Yes, sir. We will be starting the question session soon. 1 second. All the participants can ask their doubts or questions. The sir is present here. One can unmute their mics, and start asking one by one in a flow.
Whoever's asking a question has to unmute themselves, or someone has to unmute them.
No, sir. They have the control over the mics, so they can
Yeah.
unmute themselves.
Oh, great.
Hello, sir. So let me start by asking a question. So it's not like question, but like the enthusiasm you showed when we just randomly texted you via LinkedIn and you showed your like enthusiasm to host our event. So thank you for doing that. And so my question was, sir, like you did your bachelor's here in India and then you thought of going out. So my question was like, why didn't you thought of a chance like staying here in India and do your works and all?
Okay, so I worked in India for 19 years. I was the vice chairman of HCL. I actually looked after the field operations. Uh, we had, it's a slightly long answer, but India was aligned with the Soviet bloc in those days. So we did not have, or the US did not give us access in India to some of the latest microprocessors that were coming out. In India, people read magazines, English magazines, and they were at that time and probably still are aware of the things that were happening. So, for example, we had made a computer based on the Motorola 68000 series of chips. So we had the 68010, we had 68020. When the 68030 came in, that was not allowed to be imported into India. But people wanted that kind of power. And we had source codes for Unix. We had built our own, we commercialized Unix by building our own file system, our own compilers, our own spooler, just made Unix a commercial operating system. It was really a scientific operating system. And so what we did to try and give people the number of terminals and the power that they had on the 68030, we made designed a multiprocessor machine and on the 6820, and basically gave them for the user, for the programmer sitting on it, it was as if there was a single processor, but I was able to give the terminals and the throughput on multiple jobs. During one of the Computer Society of India conferences, there was a vice president from AT&T. AT&T had bought Unix, had bought Novell. Novell owned Unix, and he was really impressed by the multiprocessor that we had built. And he mentioned that the people in the US who had machines like that, probably more powerful machines, were people like Pyramid and MIPS, and those machines were being sold for about $1 million or in that range. Our machine could have been sold for about $100,000. And so we got McKinsey to do a study, and they said there was a market for our machine in the US. So we actually went to the US to manufacture hardware. That was, our design. Once you get to the US, you have to then port the enabling technology. You have to have UL certification. You wanted the databases, the compilers, Micro Focus COBOL, for example, Unify, Informix, the databases to be ported, because the US market wants that. Those are enabling technologies for that market. In India, we had developed our own relational database, so we didn't really need, and import wasn't really allowed unless you had sources. So we started doing that development. We actually picked up a nice big order, OEM order for $50 million from a company called Fortune. What happened was Fortune got acquired by a company called SCI, and SCI decided 80386, etc., etc. Our system, our machine was designed on a 68,000. US, I would have probably gone legal and made a lot of money and won that case. We, coming from India, legal is sort of the last option you look at, because you try and sort things out. The courts just take too much time. They still do. And so when I came here, we decided, I was sent here to basically shut down the operation quietly and come back to India, because we had already spent $3.5 million of the $5 million clearance that we got from the government. So when I came here, and so to do this porting in the US, the deal we had was, instead of paying for the port, which is the normal process, we said we have to do multiprocessor extensions on your software, and then only can I port it to my hardware. So the deal with the software vendors was that I will do the extensions at my cost, but I will not pay for the port. And so when I came here and we decided to shut down our hardware, and really, in hindsight, our differentiator was not the hardware. Our differentiator was our design, our R&D, our engineers, and what we had done. When I tried to pull out my people from these companies, all of them said they'd pay for it because they needed those multiprocessor extensions. And so all of a sudden, I had a positive cash flow business, because they were paying me $45 an hour, which is about $8,000 a month. And in those days, my cost was $3,000 a month. So I was making $5,000 per engineer that was there. And so I didn't need any further money from India. So we didn't ask for any other money and just ran the company. And it was called HCL America. You know it as HCL Technologies today. That business expanded. That's how we got into that particular business. I came here, I stayed on because I thought you need to be close to your customers. You can't build a business, I mean, at least in my view, when you're thousands of miles away and, a new business that you don't understand, you're learning also as you go along. In HCL, you've got to remember, we had a choice of recruiting people from the best institutes. So we used to only recruit people from 16 colleges, MBA institutions, and engineering colleges, 5 IITs, a couple of RECs, they're now called NITs, the 2 or 3 IIMs, Bangalore had just opened. And so we had some very, very good people, very smart people. And in HCL, our thinking was engineers do R&D and programmers do applications. And NIT, or an organization like NIT, was taking out programmers who were BSc, BA type people who get training on how to write code. Whereas we would use our people to do operating systems, work at the layer just next to Unix, sometimes even write in assembler, stuff like that. So one reason why HCL isn't as large as a TCS or an Infosys is because we got into applications very late. I'm probably to blame for that. I always thought engineers are for R&D and programmers are for application. So for many years, we just did product design. We didn't go into any application areas. We did that when one of my systems guys who had immigrated to Australia came to the US and said we needed a job. So I told him to make himself cash neutral. And he then opened that whole business for us. Just a little bit of background. You asked, why did I go to the US? I went there to be close to our customers and sort of build the company at that time. Technically, I've never left India. I still have my home in Delhi. I I came here in '89. I went back to India in '91. I came back here in '93. I went back to India in '96. Then I came here in '98 and decided I might as well live on both continents, which is what I do today. My mother lives here. My son lives in Delhi. So that makes my life a little easier to move between the two. A long answer to a short question.
No problem, sir.
Yes, next question, please.
Someone did raise a hand.
Yeah, he's coming. So I guess the meeting. 1 second.
Am I audible? I'm sorry.
You are,
It's me. Good evening, sir. Can I ask?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Okay, sir. First of all, thank you so much for being here with us today and sharing your experiences and all. It's truly inspiring to hear from person, someone like you, who has shaped India's IT industry from very beginning. If I may ask, imagining yourself as a 20-year-old in today's world, in your 20s, what would be the one skill or a few skills that you would choose to master first? And along with that, what are the some things you feel young people should definitely do, and also things they shouldn't be doing at this stage of life? Like, imagine you're back in your 20s and you're in this era. uh, yes, sir.
So, I was in my 20s when I used to come to IIT Madras to sell computers to various departments. And at lunchtime, I would go out to hotel runs and have a Ceylon paratha. I don't know if that still exists, but so that's one thing I tell everyone you must do. That paratha was really good. If hotel runs is still there, it was right outside campus. Uh, but yeah, if I was your age today and knowing what I know, I would look at some of the emerging areas where things are going to get really dramatic, right? It's so obviously AI is a technology that's going to come in and probably change everything like internet did, like microprocessors did. Yes, you got to worry about how the change would be different because most of the earlier technologies were efficiency oriented, but this one has a little bit of cognitive part in it, and that would change things would work out. Look at what's happening. So AI, quantum, this whole medical, uh, the whole genetics and how medicine is going to become more personalized rather than general, uh, and nano. Those are the technologies that you can see right now that seem like they are going to be uh, dramatic. They'll change things. You have to decide which one and how long. And some of it is predictions. I mean, I've been wrong when we started Headstrong in 1998, 99. I thought that if we make a company that's domain focused and does consulting in the sense, instead of talking to the CIO, you talk to the business guy and solve a business problem, being agnostic to technology, is the way the industry would go in the next 10 years. It's now 25 plus years, and the industry is just starting to move in that direction, right? People don't want cost arbitrage. I mean, they want it, but that's not the only thing they want. They want value add, they want efficiencies, and that'll only come if you understand domains. So I think when you look at it, look at these technologies, think of how they're going to change everything. You know, everyone's used to computers which are deterministic. They give you 2 plus 2 has to be 4. Quantum is coming in, which is probabilistic. 2 plus 2 doesn't have to be 4. They can optimize. Now you add AI to a computer that can optimize, and think of what the market could be, something like that. So I would think, you're in the right industry. I think, I think aerospace, this group is from there, I presume. It's going to be vastly different. They're looking at how to save carbon footprint, how to lower the carbon footprint, how you're going to make airports more effective. I think problem, if you look at it holistically, how do I get to an airport? In most cities now, it takes you as long to get in and out of airports than it does to if you took a train or whatever, or even drove at some places. So you got to optimize that. Otherwise, it's not going to be convenient for people to fly, especially looking at the other alternatives that are coming up. And so I would, I can't give you an answer. I wish I could, but I think you got to look at what your strengths are. You got to look at what your interests are, what your strengths are, and you got to look at where technology is likely to go in any of these areas, and decide that, hey, I want to be, do you want to be, what do you want to be in 10, 15, 20 years, and then take the decision accordingly. But some things that are not going to change are hard work, and I mentioned that because a lot of the young people I see, at least in the US, want a very, how should I put it, work-life balance is becoming a lot more important. It's important, but in our time, you sacrificed it because you had to create something, you had to work. And I want to warn all of you that if any of you do become entrepreneurs, it's very difficult to have this work-life balance. So if you do get married and become an entrepreneur, just make sure your better half or your spouse understands that you are going to be tied up for a while. Whether successful or not successful, you'll still be tied up for a while and not be available, or be available only limited hours for doing things at home. It's a lot better today because you get funding from VCs. When we started, HCL was bootstrapped for about 20 years till we went public. And, I remember on my 10th wedding anniversary, when I took my wife out for dinner, she said it's only our 3rd anniversary because she'd been keeping track of days that I spent at home versus my travel. So you don't want to get into a situation. Long answer. Thank you. Muthu, I hope that answered.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot. Yes, sir. It does answer the question. Thanks a lot for a wonderful explanation, like explaining everything. And obviously, I will eat whatever you said from there only. Right. So thanks a lot,
But
sir.
take your own decisions. Remember,
Sure,
I
sir.
mean, you're the best person to know yourself. You know what you like, you know what you don't like. So just take your own decisions. I mean, listen to people, get advice, but it's like I tell people who come to me with a problem, I ask them if they want a solution or they want advice. And when they ask me what the difference is, I said, if you want a solution, then it's my problem and I'll take care of it from now on. But if you want advice, I'll give you my advice. It's up to you whether you take it or not, but it's your problem. You have to solve it. And more than 80% of the time, people take advice. They don't want to hand over their problems, which is a good thing. Because if they hand over their problems, I would have to start from scratch to see how to solve it. And I'm not sure I'm the best guy to solve it. And this happens in a company when you've got people who come to you with issues. You got to worry a little bit about upward delegation because a lot of people want to hand you the tough inter people personal problems, which really have no definite solution. You just got to do a lot of talking to people, trying to understand where they're coming from, why they are doing what they're doing, and then try and come up with an answer that makes sense for the individual and the company.
Yes, sir.
Thanks.
When we start something, for example, some idea, like if I'm working on some idea, and it's like, no, I was in some cohort of some entrepreneurship, something like that, and there I got to know that the WhatsApp was not the first, the chatting system was that messenger app was 13th or 7th, I believe. YouTube was not the very first video sharing platform. It was 17th, or like I just confused between these two.
Okay.
And there was one more quote about Nika's founder. She said, I kept failing to like make my investors understand that there's something in Nika, and the best part is they failed to understand, and I got something out of it. Like I got it, and then that's the best thing that I like created something new. So when we start something, it's like almost is this thing is there that we need to explain a few things. Then we will get some criticism, constructive criticism. It may hurt us as well. Even I started something, a short story sharing platform, and for me it was like I tried best, but it didn't work that well, and then I stopped. Right. So uh, are these things like very normal? We have to get over on. Yeah, yes, sir.
Yes, no, absolutely. Probably for every uh, idea that succeeds, there are probably 10 or more ideas that don't succeed. And let me put it this way. You go when you do something, I mean, if you want to do something, do it because you're passionate about it. Try not to do it thinking I'll make money, because I guarantee you, if you start thinking you'll make money, you won't make money, right? So think about something where you have a passion for it, where even if you fail, at least you feel good about doing something that you wanted to do. Second thing is, you may have the best technical product in the world. And this I see with a lot of IIT engineers. Actually, I chair the IIT startups organization here in the US. You can look at them at iitstartups.org. Uh, a lot of them come up and say, I've got the best product, people should line up to buy it. Life doesn't work that way. You have to position it, you have to go find customers, you have to convince them that this is the right product. And a lot of times, the best product is not the winner in the market. In fact, first-hand experience, if you look at Sun workstations and Apollo workstations were far more efficient, worked much tighter. The network was a lot better. But because Sun used Ethernet and open kind of sources, they became the big company, and Apollo got bought by HP. And then, a big company kills small companies most of the time when they acquire them. But remember that. So it's always good to get someone who has some market eh, knowledge, knows how to go to market, things like that. Just having a great product is not good enough. And yes, the example you gave about Nika, whoever the person was passionate about what they were doing. People are going to criticize. In fact, when we started HCL, I come from a family of scientists, engineers, teachers. No one had ever done quote unquote business in the family before. So when I left DCM, I was the senior. I joined them as a senior management trainee. I was doing quite well there. When I left and started Microcomp, which morphed into HCL, I was married. I had a 1-year-old child, and you know, everyone. My parents didn't say anything, but all my uncles and aunts thought I was crazy leaving a good company, a good job, which was paying quite well, and stepping into the unknown. So, you live through that. So what I would say is that microprocessors are going to change the world, and I wanted to write that technology while it was emerging. And of course, no one understood what I was saying. They thought I was high on pot or something, change the world. Who's going to change the world? 2 years later, when the company started doing well, all those uncles and aunts took credit. That, yeah, we told you, we knew you'd be able to do it, that kind of thing. So just remember, people who criticize have no idea what they're doing. They're looking at it from their point of view, which is completely different to your point of view most of the time. And so, you have to get your immediate family to understand what you're doing. If they start criticizing, then you have a problem. But as long as they, like when I needed to invest money into HCL Microcom, I was running short. So I asked my mother to take a loan from her provident fund, which she said no. She said, I'll give you whatever money I've got in my current account, but I'm not going to touch my provident fund. So I have to actually go and borrow 15,000 rupees from a classmate of mine who came from a business family uh, to put in my part of the equity. Many years later, the company is doing really well. I went back to him and I offered him he could take the shares that came out of that 15,000, or he could take the money back with interest. And he gave me a long lecture on life about, hey, I just want to give my money loan back. I don't want any interest, and all that kind of stuff. I keep pulling his leg that he should have taken that, and what it would be worth today to him if he had taken the shares at that time. But he says, hey, he would never do it. That's what friends are for, and that's what, at least in IIT, that's the kind of friends that I had. I don't know today. I mean, I look at all these suicides and all that we read about. I think part of the problem is they're not making friends. I don't know why. Because if you had friends, you don't have that kind of stress. In fact, I didn't know the word stress till I left IIT and people talked about it. I mean, you were there to have fun. You studied. You did what you did. Sure. Uh, Everyone who came to IIT was topper in his school, but once you're there, it becomes a hierarchy again, and you have to decide what role and what you want to do. It's Everyone can't be number one in that kind of environment, and so again, people ask me what's the biggest thing you learned at IIT. I said I learned how to survive in an environment where people were smarter than me. And yeah, that's really what you learn in an IIT. And if you learn how to survive in that environment, you do pretty well through your life. Again,
True,
sorry,
sir.
long answer to a short
Uh,
question.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot for explaining with personal examples. It was really nice, and we can even relate with these things. For example, the family part, I can completely relate. All the family members of my family are into government jobs and all. So for me to get into some corporate thing is a bit tough to make them understand. Okay, sir, that something like this also is popular and we can do as well. There's some future in it. So yeah, I'm trying my best uh, to do something parallel to the government jobs and all. Yes, sir.
Okay, all the best.
Thanks a lot, sir.
Any other questions?
Hello. Am I audible?
Yeah, Hiten, you're audible.
Yeah, good evening.
Sorry, are you
Hello.
saying something? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, sir. I have seen your profile and the number of roles you handle. The question that came to my mind is, what single habit keeps you so productive after so many responsibilities you have? Could you share with us so we can also be productive as you?
Yeah, so I've been asked that question a lot of times. I'm 76 now, about to be 77, and people want to know why I'm
Yes.
still working. Yeah. So the only reason I have is, look, I feel as long as I can create jobs, I think I have to do that. It's what the country requires. So as long as I can create jobs, I'll keep working. The minute I think, hey, I can't do that anymore, then I'll go back to my hobbies and try and look at them. Now I don't know when. I did try when I left HCL in 1998. I thought I was about to turn 50. I thought, good time to retire and, look after your hobbies, shauq hote, that kind of thing. And I have a lot of them. I collect stamps, I collect coins, I collect, die-cast model cars. I do a lot of things. Uh, I lasted at home exactly 10 days. That because people would come from 6 o'clock in the morning to 9 o'clock at night. My wife was making tea, coffee, whatever. And, you know, I, when we came to the US 6 months later, she told me, "You made me into an ABCD." And I said, "How could it? You weren't born in the US." She said, "No, Aya Bera cook driver," which is really what you end up doing when you're in the US. And so she threw me out of the house. Her exact words, or if I paraphrase them, were, "We've been married for 27 years. I married you for good or bad, but I didn't marry you for lunch." So she said she'll pay for a business center. I should go and work from there. Um, so I ended up starting another company, uh, which morphed into Headstrong, which we sold to Genpact in 2011. So, to answer your question, I I don't know. It's a question of what what drives you. When we After Genpact 2011, I decided that I'll focus on technology companies, uh, mostly in healthcare and education, to try and change outcomes in those areas for the economically underprivileged in India. And as I said, as long as I feel I can create jobs, I will keep working. The day I feel, uh, you know, I can't do it anymore, then I'll retire. I hope that answers it.
Thank you, sir.
Then, okay, thanks. Yeah, someone wants to contact me. I think my email is available with Rohit, or you can get it from him.
Sir, I'm sharing your LinkedIn account here in the chat, right?
Just give them my email. That's the best.
Okay, sir. So
Yes,
guys,
Hiten, you can ask.
Hello, good evening, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, sir. So first of all, sir, thank you for being here. It was such a nice thing to have you among us. Actually, having listening to people like you, it's like great opportunity. I just had a one simple question from you. Like in the today's generation, that everyone is just, very, very fast. AI is doing fast work. People are doing fast tasks. Everyone wanted, two or three skills at the same time. What's your thinking about those who just want to, stay and just do something great on one single thing and just work on it?
So there is something to be said about specialization, and there's something to be said about generalization. So, I guess all of you are technology people. When you go out and look for a career in a company, you have two choices. You can either become a architect, a specialized technology person, or you can become a more generalist, maybe do an MBA or something like that, and become a what they call a manager. Yeah, not that as a technologist you can't be a manager, but most technologists tend to be individual contributors rather than managing a team. And because they're strength in that technology, they are admired for being an individual. That's a decision you all have to take individually. you know, I don't know what your people management skills are like, because if you ever want to become a manager, you got to manage people more than anything else. And let me tell you, uh, as a good manager, most people think when I become a manager, my life will be easy. What happens is you have lesser and lesser choice of what you want to do. And the reason for that is you have to do whatever the weakness in your team is, not what you like to do. Right. Whereas as an individual contributor, you're doing it because you like doing that and you're good at what you're doing. So just keep that in mind. It's something people tend to forget. Everyone thinks becoming a manager, I'll play golf, I'll order this, I'll do that. Yes, you can do all that, but remember the job is a lot more difficult because managing people is a lot more difficult than just getting lost in a technology. And I'll give you a simple example. Obviously, you have a set of friends at IIT where you are, and say three or four of you do things together and you decide to go see a movie. How many times have you been able to persuade them to go to a movie you want to see rather than agree with someone else who suggests the movie? So, look at that. If you can get people to agree with what you want to do and they are happy about doing it, then there's a good chance you'll be a good manager. And if you can't do it, then try and if you want to be a good manager, try and find out ways in which you can do something like that. Simple thing, and you can learn it at IIT. You can learn it with your friends. You don't have to get them to do it all the time, but if you can do it a large percentage of the time, you're managing people, keeping them happy without them feeling that you're telling them what to do. I think that's what a good manager should be able to do.
Absolutely, sir. That's what I agree with you. Thank you, sir.
Anytime. Good. This sort of reminds me, one of the things we used to do in HCL, everyone used to have a cube in our office here in the US. Uh, I would ask everyone every month, on the first of every month, to stick a post-it on right on the cube near their name, saying the one thing I'm going to do this month to improve myself. And it could be a small thing like I'll attend meetings on time or whatever. But people would do that, and then anyone in the office could criticize them if they weren't doing it. It didn't matter what your level was or whatever, because you had that on your cube on a post-it for that month. So I've had some people come to me and say they can't think of what they can do this month to improve themselves. And I used to get up and give them a big hug and say, "Thank you, you made my life simple." And they said, "What? How?" I said, "Then if you can't improve yourself, then I don't have to give you an increment this year because you're not improving yourself." And of course, then they'd all say, "No, no, no, we'll do something," kind of thing. But so try and do that just yourself. Try with your friends. Just try and think of how you can change in one particular month. Put it out. When you put it out in public, normally it makes it a little easier. The internet. Yeah, yeah. I'm sorry. Did you hear that last bit? Because I think the internet just dropped for a moment. It happens here too.
I guess last 5 seconds were not like we were not able to go.
Yeah. So okay. So I'm basically saying that if you do that, you know how to manage people, and try and follow some simple rules. I never ask anyone to do something I wouldn't do myself, and so I know if they say no, then I will go and do it. And most people are reluctant to say no because of that, because they know I'll do it myself. Second thing is, when you're given a project, your team, and you are the supervisor, manager, whatever word you want to use, and the project doesn't go well, then when you go to meet the boss, he's yelling at the person under you. It's your job as the manager to step in and say, look, my responsibility. I was the one, although you may not have been responsible for that project, and one of your team members might have been responsible, but you got to step in and take the flak for him instead of letting your manager bombast him directly. On the other hand, if something is done well and your manager is patting you on the back, you've got to step out of the way and say, this guy in the team or these people in the team are the ones who did it. If you practice that it's very difficult because egos and you like to get a pat on the back, everyone likes it, and you don't like getting yelled at. But if you do that, your team will have a lot of respect for you. They will try very hard not to let you down. Right. I found that works really well. Uh, Other thing is when you recruit people, try and recruit people who are smarter than you. Believe you me, exist. They are out there. And then please listen to them. Don't tell them what to do. Right. One of the things we did very well in HCL was we enabled our people to do things. So, for example, I'll give you an example. If there was a big customer order, it would go up and down with the field to give them a final price and stuff. And yes, you finally, customer says he's placing the order. And obviously, he would come to head office to meet me. The sales guy would come with him. And we'd talk about a lot of things. You'd give him comfort, and then he'd ask you for give me a good price. And I'd always give him a price that was higher than what the field guy had given him. And he would say, but your guy in the salesman in the field gave me a better price. And my answer was always, look, if I had to give everyone prices, I would have nothing else to do. That would be my full-time job. We have enabled and trained these people. They're responsible for their local profitability. They give you the best price they can. I can only give you this price. But if he's willing to give you a better price and then take a higher price from someone else, that's up to him. And the sales guy would be sitting there. He'd feel very enabled that, hey, I'm the one responsible. And it's amazing. They protected our margin better than I could have because they felt responsible for that margin from the field. That was one of the nicest things that we saw in HCL, which is one reason why if you talk to people in my generation and talk about HCL sales, they'll tell you that they were probably the best. Or, if you had that on your resume, you'd get a job nearly anywhere. In fact, good news today is more than half the IT services companies CEOs are ex-HCL people. I can name them. You start with Gurnani at Tech Mahindra. He's just retired. Sri Krishna at Hexaware. Sudhir Singh at Coforge. Sandeep Kalra at Persistent. And I can go on and on, But all of these people cut their teeth in HCL. And that's how we used to recruit. We recruited smart people. And so if you ever do get into an organization, first of all, you can't go it alone, in my view. You got to find a team, and the team has to have a chemistry with you. And then when you recruit smart people. That's the only way to grow.
So initially, if you are done, can I ask?
Yeah, go
I'm
ahead.
sorry, I'm not that audible. Yeah, I hope I'm audible
No.
now. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the last point that you mentioned just now about recruit wisely or something like that. So as said, I started something like a short story sharing platform. And the hardest part was for me, keeping uh, the members motivated. Like, uh, what happened? The thing is, they come inside and they're like, okay, okay, we'll do, because they think that this is a startup and something like that, and they'll get something out of it. And the moment they get to know or understand that, okay, the things are not that great, or even we are in starting, no one is going to pay in terms of startup or any venture. So by the time they starts, their interest start decreasing. So any suggestions how we can keep the energy up?
So I think you've got to communicate clearly what the expectations are when people come in, and say how you're going to do it. And look, when you're starting something like that, and I don't know what it was, but my feeling is that if I want to get to be, no, I write short stories, no one knows me, I can't find a publisher. Otherwise, why would I come to you, right? And so, I come to you because I get a bigger audience than what I would have got normally, right? And that's the expectation you should set. And if people want to buy it, they're all copyrighted. If people want to buy, you have a price on each story that people can buy. I don't know the economic model that you planned on that whole thing, but that's basically what it is. So the best example I can give is here in Silicon Valley, there are lots of people who made money. And so some people have opened a studio, and budding music artists, people who sing and stuff like that, let's say in a genre like jazz, they actually take out their records and put them out on their website. And a lot of artists who come through there have now become big because a lot of people like their songs, were able to get a professional version, a CD kind of thing, or streaming or spooling of their songs. And, they've become popular, and then they've gone on to bigger labels. So you've got to think of what your model is. You've got to think of how it is today, what it's going to be tomorrow. You might even think of talking to these authors who write short stories, and if they're good, and you've got, say, 50 this with multiple authors, authors shouldn't have a problem because they get publicity, they don't get any money out of it, right? Stuff like that. I don't, I'm sorry, I don't know the business. I don't know uh, what it was, but just trying to think of, if I look at something like that, what would I be doing to, but managing expectations is the most important thing. People shouldn't feel that coming in there, they're going to earn money. That's not the point. The point is something else that should be put upfront to them. If you earn some money at a later date, that's a completely different thing.
Thank you, sir. Like sharing details from like how we can make the customers happy, or yeah, the clients happy. Uh, Actually, the question was regarding the team members. Like, I'm the team lead, or I started something, and the team under me who's working with me. So how we can keep them motivated? Like, you started something, and I'm pretty sure that you are the best person to share about this, that how we can keep the team active and energetic, because day by day the productivity decreases. This is what I have observed.
Sorry, Manu, I think you froze.
Okay, I'll repeat the question.
Is it my internet or?
I guess it's yours. Anyone will confirm? Akash, Yashasvi.
Sorry,
Yes, sir.
either you or my internet, something happened.
Sir, you most probably have a little bit problematic
Okay.
internet.
Yeah, I do. I've got the wrong network. Let me change my network. Yeah, I should have noticed this. Uh, I don't have my network. Yeah. Where the hell is it?
Hello. Since we have a time down, so we Q&A session. And now let us look at the problem statements and criteria, also the notification need to give you before. Go ahead, we have team up you guys since most of them are souls. Okay.
Bro, you do have some network issue, I guess.
We have lined up a series of exciting AML problem statements for you. Pick one that excites you the most and I will. Problem
Go
statement
ahead.
one, number one. Predict aircraft engineering. Yes,
Yep, I'm sorry.
yes, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. Manu, you were asking a question. Yeah, you didn't finish it. I didn't hear the last part.
Yeah, I did.
Yes, sir. So you shared from a client's point of view, like how we can make them happy about our product.
You talked
So
about
the
motivating your
question,
team. Yeah, you were
yes,
talking about motivating. Yeah.
yes,
So first thing is everyone has to have a common goal that has to be communicated, and it has to be communicated frequently so that everyone is clear on what the goal is. That's the nice thing about a startup, that you can get people into a room. You can say, we've changed our strategy from the minute we step out of the room, we're going to do it differently, and it happens. As the organization grows, that luxury doesn't exist. So you have to make sure that everyone is aligned behind a common goal. Otherwise, what's going to happen is you'll have people saying, I work really hard, but no one it gives me credit for it. But technically, you're working really hard, but you're not working towards the goal that the company has. And so it's very difficult for the company to give you credit for just working hard, right? So clear communication, what the objective is, everyone has to be aligned. And, you, as I put it, when you're in the room, you can argue, do whatever you like. But once a decision is taken, everyone who steps out of the room is a soldier who has to implement that decision. And no one should say, I told you so, if something goes wrong, because things go wrong, right? Not everything goes right. And that's the nice thing in a startup is you can make that change, turn on a coin, as they say. You've done something, you've taken a wrong decision, go back, change it, and you get it implemented nearly immediately, right? So motivating your people, making them having a common goal, and making sure everyone is sort of happy and involved. Uh, it's you got to make them feel they own the company, even if they don't. Although I think what we did at TechSpan and Headstrong was that we gave options to everyone. When we sold the company in 2011, my driver made 50,000 rupees. So now he is after me to invest in everything that I do. And I keep telling him they all don't work that way. You don't make money all the time. Not everything gives you a return. But yeah, but we did that, and it was really nice because out of our 4,000 employees, when we sold, 50 people were dollar millionaires, and I think 1,000 people in India were rupee millionaires. So, it was a good outcome for everyone. And technically, a lot of them, if I will not, but if I do decide to start something, a lot of them say they'll come back and join. Right. And so that's really nice. I mean, it makes me feel good. And plus, the other nice thing is about 50 of them, uh, it sort of gave them the motivation to go out and start their own thing. And so you created that many entrepreneurs. They would have created additional jobs, which is really nice. So, it's what I call everyone has like when a electron escapes its orbit, there's a work function, the amount of energy that's required. I think everyone has some financial goal by which they feel they can now step out and take a risk, become an entrepreneur. And it's nice to see people do that.
So, hello,
yes,
sir.
sir.
So, sorry to interrupt. like since we have a time bound, so I think we have to end the Q&A session right
Yeah.
now. So now I would like to present the problem statements that we have talked about for this hackathon. And also there is a quick notification that is like since most of the students have registered as a solo member, so maybe what we believe is that maybe you didn't got any team member or something. So what we have done is we have created team of 4 people, and we will share the list so that you can, after this meet, you can talk to them and can collaborate for this hackathon. So let me present you the problem statement.
Can I log off or?
Yes, sir. You can.
Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks,
Thank you.
thanks a
Lovely.
lot, sir. Have a great night.
Yep. You guys too. Take care. Bye.
Okay, sir. Good night, sir. Okay. So coming back to our problem statements. So if you can see, the first problem is predict the remaining useful life. So the problem is predict the remaining useful life of an aircraft engine using multi-sensor time series data, such as data like temperature, vibration, pressure, speed. So the dataset you can get from here: NASA MAPS turbofan engine dataset, and here are the approach how you can approach it, and this is the bonus point. So this is like since there are, when a airplane or any electrical component they retire, so there are still few reusable parts that we can still use it in our new machines, so that to reduce the excess use of resources and do a recycling of them. Then moving to our next problem statement, which is it echoing? Faisal, can you mute yourself? Okay. So the second is dynamic airline ticket price forecasting. So most of the problem statements we will be showing you are kind of related to MLP project. So if you have done MLP project, then it is highly probable that you can solve all these problems. Like these are already been done, and even in the MLP theory course, you will also get some questions like this. So the second problem is dynamic airline ticket price forecasting. So the problem is predict airline ticket prices by considering not only routes but also fuel price, holidays, and seasonality. So depending on the season, the fuel price, the holidays, so the ticket price may vary. So you have to create a model that can predict the price based on all the parameters that we are asking for, and the dataset you can get from Kaggle flight price and IATA fuel index and holiday calendars and etc. And here are the approach how you can go through it, and there are some bonus points if you do extra these points. Then moving to the next problem statement, which is multi-level cloud classification and segmentation. So the problem is classify multiple cloud types in the same image and segment cloudy region in sky satellite images. So dataset you can get from NASA, Moody's, cloud imagery, and here is the approach how you should do, and the bonus points what you can do extra and get some bonus. Then going to the next problem statement is flight delay duration prediction with weather integration. So the problem is predict delay duration minutes using flight data plus real weather data. So based on the real weather data, you have to like predict how what how much delay a flight can have. And there also the data set can be like sourced from here, scrapped from these places, and this is the approach that we are asking you to go. And these are the bonus points that you can do so that you can get bonus marks. And moving to the next one, airport traffic flow prediction. So it is a graph ML problem. So the problem is global model global airport connectivity and predict high cognition airport using graph based ML. So you have to basically you have to create graphs of different airports and the traffic with the connectivity, so that you can manage the traffic in the air, so that less congestion happens. And also here you can get the data from this place, and here is the how to approach and the bonus points. Then moving to the next problem statement, solar radiation forecasting with time series DL. So it is a forecast hourly solar radiation for renewable energy planting. So for it is a green, it is more towards the nature side. So you can get the data from here on the solar radiation data set, and you can uh, like do planting based on the data, and you can say how much solar, like how much radiation a plant will get on a specific location. And these are the data set you can get from, and this is how the approach should be, and the bonus points. Now moving to the seventh one, airline passenger forecasting with stock event. So it is also a airline based one, that too with a stock event. So the problem statement says that forecast passenger demand with seasonal demand plus disruption, pandemics, strikes, storms. So as you know that there can be disruptions like pandemics, or there can be lightning strikes, or maybe a thunderstorm or hailstorm, or any kind of uh, weather calamity. So based on all those parameters, you can forecast passenger demand with seasonal data. You can take all those data and can forecast how much traffic they can expect, and the data you can get from these places. And this is the approach and bonus points. And now 8, so real time railway traffic prediction. So the problem is predict railway congestion for the next 30 minutes using ADS-B flight data, dataset Open Sky Network. So it is to help with that railway traffic. So you have to predict how much traffic there can be on a certain track, and how you can help them reduce the traffic. And similarly, the approach and bonus points are also mentioned. Now the second last problem statement is aircraft fleet emission optimization. So the problem is estimate fleet level CO2, NOS, and SO2 emission. Suggest routing aircraft swap to reduce emissions. So like suppose you are at a certain height, and at that height the toxic emission is more. So you can so this model will uh, say that how much CO2 and other toxic gases are emitted, and the data is you can get from here. And this is the approach and the bonus points. And finally, the predict satellite visibility windows, advanced orbital ML. So it is a advanced. Manu, are you trying to say something?
No, no.
Okay. So the problem statement states that predict how long a satellite remains visible from a ground station using orbital plus Earth rotation data. So as you can understand, like what we are expecting here, and the data set you can get from these places, and these are all free, and these are how to approach and the bonus point. Now the thing is that since there are some bonus points and everything, so the criteria is like 40% of the marks will be given for solving the actual problem, and 20% will be the creativity, the bonus points you will work on, and about 15 to 20% on the technical complexities you are going through, and the rest 15 to 20% will be on the innovation and the demonstration. So also there are some optional team bonus like collaborations and documentation quality. You can expect up to 5 to 10 points. Also, reproducibility of code, proper GitHub repo setup, up to 5 points. So you can expect this kind of points on following these things. Also, don't worry, we will share this documents in the G space. If you have not joined the G space, please share your email ID here in the chat so that we can add you directly. And I guess we are done with our agenda tonight. Faisal, am I leaving something?
Yeah, the criteria you told me.
Huh?
What's the criteria of
Hello? Yeah. So share your email IDs here and we will add you. And if you have any questions regarding the problem statement, you may ask. Also, if you don't have any questions right now, or and if you have any questions later, so you can definitely put your queries in the G space and someone in the as a volunteer or all the members can answer it. Guys, if you have any questions, you can say, or I guess we can stop the recording. Any questions?